Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day, more Disney fun is on the way.
Hi. Okay, so it's Sunday, the day of my interview, and right now it is about 11:15, which means I have about 3.5 hours until my interview. So, yay! And as you can see, I look a lot better than I did last time. I decided for my interview I wanted to treat it like it was an in-person interview, so I got up and I did my hair and I did makeup, just to make myself feel better. I think, because I feel like if I'm if I look confident, then I'll feel confident and I'll sound confident. But we'll see how that theory pans out later. But that's just my theory now. And I think my nerves are starting to set in a little bit, not too much yet, but when we get to around 2 o'clock, 1:45, that's probably when it'll get really bad. But I went in the kitchen to make breakfast just like a few minutes ago, and I didn't feel like eating anything, so I have my instant breakfast. I don't know why I didn't feel like eating anything, I just didn't. So, anyway, so just wanted to give you like a quick before. And I've prepared for questions and things like that. I've got practice answers, written down, and that's just for me to kind of get a grip on what I want to say. And I know they'll probably ask me different things, but I just kind of want to have an idea what I want to say. So that's that. Okay, so I just had my interview. I just got off the phone with my recruiter, and he was a guy, I cannot remember his name. I want to say Jeff. It was something like that. It started with a J. Might have been Justin. I don't know. It was something that started with a J. He was really nice. He really was. He was really nice. And he asked about the weather in Boone, and we talked about snow and all that stuff. He was really nice. And we started out talking about the Disney look and, the basic sort of things that he needed to know about eligibility. And then he talked about the number of roles that I checked, which he thought was good. And he gave us a wide range to choose from, so that's good. And then he asked for 2 to 3 that I really liked, and I told him character attendant, merchandise, and hospitality. So then we talked about the questions for all 3 of those. He had really open-ended questions, though. He didn't give me a whole lot of specific scenarios. It was more of what kind of challenges do you think you'll face with this? He gave me one specific scenario, which was for merchandise, which was if someone wanted an item that you were out of stock of in the store, what would you tell them? And so I answered that question. But that's the only specific scenario that he gave me. The rest of them were very open-ended, which was nice. It was actually really nice because I got to incorporate a lot of experience that I had in theater and, with my major and with my past job experience. So it was really good. Trying to think if there's anything else that he asked me we talked about all 3 of the roles that I told him were my top 3. And I got a lot of positive feedback from him, which was good. And we got to the end and he went over some more eligibility things, just, minimum wage and what else? It was minimum wage and then a couple other things that had to do with that, and living in Florida and the roommate situation, all of that. So that was good. I feel like it went really well. It lasted 28 minutes. I'm super proud of that. I feel like that's a really good time. So not quite 30, but it's not under 15. So that was good. And I asked him, he asked if I had any questions, and I asked him things like, if I drove and I had my car down there, would I be able to drive to work? And he said yes. As a matter of fact, he suggested it. And then I asked if I wanted to come down a few days before my check-in, if I got in, would there be any discounts or anything? And he said there wouldn't. That my discounts don't start until I start my training, which I kind of figured. Like, I kind of knew that was how it worked, but I just wanted to make sure and hear it from someone official because I know my mom will ask me. And then the last thing I asked him was when he thought I would hear back. And this is my favorite part of the interview, guys. Okay. So I said, when do you think I'll hear back? And he said, well, I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks. But with that being said, I feel like you'll hear back sooner. He said, keep a watch on your email every day and keep a check in your mailbox. Keep checking your mailbox every day. And that was what he told me. He just said, make sure you check everything, your email, your mail, whatever. And I feel like you'll hear back before 4 to 6 weeks. So that's good. That's really good. That's what that was my big thing. So I feel like my interview went really well. He was really nice again, and I made him laugh a few times, which was good. It was really good. So, and every time there was a pause, he would make sure that I knew that it was him typing down my answer and waiting for the computer, and that it wasn't, him just pausing. So I felt like it went really well, and I'm super excited right now. And I didn't get as nervous as I thought I was going to get. I was a little shaky toward the middle, but not as much as I usually get when I'm nervous. So that was really good. And I tried to remember to smile, but sometimes I would forget because I was thinking, but I think I did really well in this interview. So I'm very, very, very excited to hear back. When I was talking about, we were talking about character attendant, he asked me, what are some specific challenges that you would expect with the role of character attendant? So that was one that I hadn't seen anybody really be asked that open-ended of a question. So I basically told him, what I knew about children and their emotional reactions and things like that. And he asked me questions about how would you make a guest feel special and just things like that. And it was really, I don't know, I feel like the questions were really, really basic, but really open-ended. So it was really kind of easy to come up with an answer, but not at the same time. Does that make sense? I kind of knew what I wanted to say. It was just a matter of getting the words together. So I feel like it went really well. And I looked at my time when I hung up, and I was like really, really happy about that. So that's a good sign. And then hearing back, he says I'll hear back before 4 to 6 weeks. That's a good sign. That has to be a good sign, right? I think it is. So then he asked me if they had the correct email and things like that. They needed to make sure. And he asked me what program I would be interested in, fall or Fall Advantage, and I told him fall. And then we talked about the weather and would I be, this is a question that I hadn't seen anywhere. He asked me, with merchandise, you could be working outdoors or indoors all the time. Like, it changes all the time. Either way, you could be working indoors all the time, you could be working outdoors all the time, you could be going back and forth. And he wanted to know how I felt about that, which I really got to point out that I worked at a summer camp. We were outside all the time. We were barely inside at all. So I'm very used to that, and I would be okay with that. And then he talked about how it gets really hot, and would I be okay working in the hot weather? And I said I would be fine. He just asked me questions like that. But basically, it was a good interview. So I'm very excited. And so my interview's done. Now I just have to wait, which is going to be the hard part. It probably won't be as stressful as waiting for the interview, but it'll still be pretty hard. So anyway, cross your fingers. I think it went well. Cross your fingers that I'll hear back soon. Okay? Alright. Anyway, so that's all for this time. I'll be updating the blog probably every day. That's what I've been doing so far. I didn't intend to do that, but I get bored, and so I find things to write about on the blog. Which, it's good for you guys. So if you haven't been to my blog, go visit www.dcphopeful.blogspot.com for more information. So, and I don't know when, I'll probably do my next vlog whenever I hear back, whether that's a rejection or an acceptance, but I feel like it's going to be an acceptance because it went really well. Okay. It feels so much, I'm so relieved now that my interview's done. Anyway, so that's all for now. Until next time, have a magical day. Bye.